Well, start off the introduction. My name is Jeremy Frey. From a athletic background, or I should say athletic background, where I'm currently at right now. I'm a strength conditioning coach at Division I level, Division I AA football. Currently, I take care of football, softball, men's and women's soccer, track and field, swimming, diving. So pretty much I have a whole slate of teams on there. We don't deal with basketball at this point in time, or volleyball. So if we had those, we'd do that. But background, I mean, I've been doing strength conditioning now for the past 9 years. With lifting experience and lifting background, I've been lifting for 18 years currently. So got a lot of background with that. Been decently successful with within the sport of powerlifting. Nothing, I don't ever believe in hanging a hat on anything. You're always going to improve, you always get better. But I've been able to work on some numbers and be pretty proficient at powerlifting as well. So what I'm going to talk about today, what I'm going to cover, and I'll say this. I've rewritten this presentation probably 3 times. I rewrote it again last night. I slept for about an hour and a half. So if I seem like I float around a little bit, ask questions, do what you need to do. I'm not having a problem if you guys ask a question out loud. You raise your hand up, I'll talk about it, okay? But I'm going to talk about block periodization and how it really is applicable to powerlifting. But if you have any questions about athletic side of things, as a strength coach, what do you see with athletes? How does this apply to athletics? We're going to have a tough time going in that Spain within a reasonable time frame. Because I can probably sit up there and talk for hours. I'm not going to do that. All right? Boring as shit, and I'm not going to do that. Block training and application with powerlifting. I'm not going to cover too much on a technical basis. I think that's been knocked out quite a bit. I've always had a lot of guys say, hey, I've read the book, I've read the materials, I still don't understand how to apply it. I still don't understand how to write a program. I've listened to James Smith talk about it. He is way over my head. He is. Shit, he was over my head when I first listened to him talk before. Okay? I'm not really like to be on the technical savvy side of things. Everything is simplistic. Everything is simplistic in nature when it comes to training. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure Vinny hit on that. Sorry, Vinny, I wasn't listening all that much, but I know that he hit on a lot of those things. That lifting is always going to be simplistic. You got to approach it as such, but you always got to have a plan. You got to know where you're at. You got to know where to begin. And preparation is going to be everything. Okay? How block kind of came to fruition. Obviously, back in the day, you had traditional periodization. Now, traditional periodization, that was, the simplistic view of it is you're trying to accomplish a lot of things. You're trying to accomplish a lot of, multiple motor and technical abilities. And I will read off this a little bit, but I'll go off on a tangent. Okay. Trying to accomplish a lot of things within a training period, and again, with novices, that's all right. Okay. Novice individuals, you can do that, but as a, and with athletes back in the day, now we've got athletes today, they're much more advanced. We need to have more advanced programming to go along with training those athletes. And again, within powerlifting, within sport, it doesn't matter, you're still an athlete. You're still going to be very applicable, and that's just how you apply it. Okay? And basically traditional, I mean, it did cause negative interaction with having all those components try to go back. They're non-compatible together. You didn't break them up into separate blocks. You didn't break them into separate specified training. Well, I'll leave it as blocks. Okay. Specified training blocks. You're going to end up having negative responses to things and different training responses that are not going to mesh well together. All right. Again, with a novice individual, you're fine with that. Advanced athlete, you're going to have issues. You're going to have issues carrying that athlete on to, say, the Olympic style level. Okay, or Olympic level. What is block? Very simple. Short mesocycle blocks. So very short training periods of time that focus on general specific to very much competition or sport specific movements. Simple. Okay. Ishmael wants to leave it as a 3-tier deal. All right, I'll end up talking about maybe it being a little more 4-tier, but for the most part, that's all block is. It's going to concentrate on more specialized movements within certain blocks to address those things and make sure that you are prepared to move on to the next block or the next training cycle, the next specified cycle towards ultimately getting ready for your competition. Okay. Again, very simplistic terms. You guys want to write some of this stuff down? It's great. Don't. I'll email it to you. All right. Like I said, I don't want to go into too much of that stuff. For the most part, with the phases, I break it down into 4 instead of 3. 4 4 phases I tend to look at. Obviously, start off, you always need a good general physical preparedness level. You need a good GPP level. Everybody's talking about GPP nowadays. I got a good GPP, you gotta have a prowler, use a prowler, gotta push it around, I need my GPP for today. I go to drag a sled. Basic premise with general physical preparedness, and actually I'm gonna get into that in a second, see, start going off on a tangent. We'll get there in a second, alright? Basically all you do during that type of phase is just getting fit. You need to be fit, okay? You got a lot of guys that go into training cycles and are unprepared to handle either maximal loads, sub-maximal loads at a certain intensity, high volume. All of a sudden, they're going in and they're getting overtrained. All right, they feel like crap. They're unable to recover before the next training. What are we going to call it block? Just the next training day. They're unable to recover from things. Why? They did way too much work. They're not prepared to go into that training phase. Okay. So we need to take proper steps to make the next step. So you got general physical preparedness, which goes into 3 phases. They talk about accumulation, transmutation, and realization. Simplistically put, and again, I apologize. I don't mean to, but I'm not running on empty. I'm just running on a little. General, to the general specific, to very specific. Okay? Those are kind of be your phases at the point in time. Realization is really like pre-competition phase, a pre-competition block. All right? For GPP, again, my biggest thing today in talking is getting you able to write a good general physical preparedness program, knowing what it means, why do you do it, how can you set it up. Quite frankly, there's an infinite amount of ways to do it. Infinite amount of ways. Okay? The main goal, the main purpose of it is, again, raise your overall work capacity and your fitness levels. All right? One way to attack it, or basic general guideline, is going to be, you mostly use multi-joint movements. You're not going to go in and get anything done by doing a bunch of curls, a bunch of triceps, a bunch of shrugs, single joint movements that are just not going to do much for you. Powerlifting is 3 things. Again, we're talking about powerlifting at this point in time. Powerlifting is 3 things: bench, squat, and deadlift. Plain and simple. All right, you need to work on those things. Well, again, why are we not working on them here? Well, you're going to. You can work on them here, but it's more general in nature. Okay? So keep things multi-joint, keep things very much light intensity. I always used to say my guidelines for it are about 8 to 15 exercises, 2 to 5 rotations. Okay, rotations means you're going to go through those 8 to 15 exercises X amount of times. Now traditionally, how that would be set up, and you can set it up like this, I like to set up more like a circuit style for GPP, because you want your heart rate to be increased. Okay? You want to be able to get some work done. There's going to be some cardiac components to this. Alright, but 2 to 5 rotations through those exercises, and 8 to 15 repetitions. Again, just general guideline, it says light work. RPE, it's rate of perceived exertion. If you don't know what RPE is, if I asked you today, you got your workout done, how is that on a scale from 1 to 10? It's about a 7. Okay, there's your RPE. Alright? Just how you perceive that workout went for that day, scale 1 to 10. Real simple. Alright? 7 out of 10, you got some work done. It's not that hard. It's lighter weight. Okay? Very much lightweight. Alright? Again, it's more about fitness and strength. Time frame is always going to kind of play into this. You always want to be able to complete these circuits in a short amount of time. Okay? Being able to get through them without having to take X amount of reps, dying, keeling over, your heart rate's 200 beats per minute, you're going white in the face, you're about ready to puke. That stuff's going to happen. Okay? You want to be able to work on that fitness level. That's what I'm talking about, fitness. You need to be able to get through these cycles without having any issues. So if you can't get through, I had an individual, I'll show you a story, had a guy that I just trained a few months ago. Strongman, power lifter, athlete, hybrid, at least that's what he thought it was. Okay? I'm going to do multiple facet things. I work on a bunch of stuff. But he wants to do a powerlifting meet. I'm like, all right, well, hey, I'll help you with that. He has messed up hips, so I mean, he ain't squatting. We're just going to do an Ironman. Bench, deadlift. I set up a simple 8 exercise. I knew he was in bad shape. 8 exercise circuit, 2 sets, 12 reps all the way through, no big deal. And I even broke it into, it wasn't 8 exercises straight, 4 exercises, 4 exercises. Really trying to start off very simplistic. He made it through the first 4 exercises 1.5 times, and then sat on the couch for about the next hour and a half. White as hell. White face. I walked in there and, just stared at him, and he goes, man, I didn't know I was in that bad shape. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You know, you're not, I mean, and you've been lifting heavy, doing this, doing that, and you wonder why you can't compete, you can't sustain maximal effort through for an entire competition. Your fitness levels are absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Can't even make it through 4 exercises, 2 sets of 12. On everything. Couldn't even make it through 4. So that played into the next workout. I kept it the exact same. I'm like, hey, we got to make it through this 4, we can move on.